All right. We should have some people coming in here shortly. I apologize. It's a little darker than normal. I'm in the other shop today. Hopefully, you can still see well. Hey, Joan. We have lots of things to look at this week. Lots. Hey, Steve. Joan. I have the drawing done, but I did not get it posted. I will post it just after the live. It is done. I wonder if I've got any section pieces made. Yeah. Just kind of waiting to see who else was coming in, if anyone. Hopefully, everybody's ready for Christmas. Anybody not ready for Christmas? Let me clean some of this stuff off my hands here. Hey, there's Pond. Oh yeah, there's some fountain pen stuff. So maybe we'll start out with going over the basics of some of the fountain pen parts and work towards the creation of some. But I feel like there are lots of people that have a lot of questions that they need answered regarding owning fountain pens, maintenance, things like that. Which, you know, are all good questions. There's a lot of knowns and unknowns and what to do, what not to do. I don't know everything by any means. If you know something I don't, please speak up. Oh man, you're gonna leave there miserable tomorrow. Hopefully this is still bright enough. I've been trying to work on some more lighting in this shop where I turn fountain pens, but I didn't get it all up this evening, so next week we'll have some more. Yeah, Linda's with us as well. Sorry, Linda, I missed you. Gonna be a snowstorm here. Hopefully you don't lose power or anything. Miss Scarlet Dragon, Sparkling Nana. All right. Several people in. Sorry I missed anybody. Okay. So there are lots of different fountain pens on the market, lots of ways to handle them, carry them. Some people prefer to carry them in a protective sleeve, when they put them in their pocket or put them in their purse or wherever it may be. Some people don't have a preference. They can come in various sizes by various makers. These are some of ours. We have some other friends of ours that are makers as well. Let me look and see. I may have one that is really interesting that I did not get out, and I apologize. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And I have one that I made with some hardware parts that is really cool. Um, okay. So these are all fountain pens. All right. So as far as fountain pens go, there's various ways, various sizes, shapes, colors. Most of the time, they start with a blank from us or any other maker. This would be a resin blank. These are some ones that we've been working on. I want to get some turned before we put them out in the drop so you all can get a really good idea of what's in there. So, as far as fountain pens go, this was the very first one I ever turned at actually at the Ohio Pen Turners Gathering, or Mid Ohio Valley Pen Turners Gathering. The section blew up, so it has a non-matching section. This is my very first one I turned at the show. This was a blank from us that was looking to kind of emulate red ebonite or orange ebonite. And these are all going to be, except with the exception of one, these are all going to be what are known as kitless pens. There are lots of amazing kitless makers out there. The ingenuity right now is so high. It's amazing to see what other people make, and it's absolutely beautiful. Let's kind of separate some of this. There's a lot of talent on this table, and not of mine, but of other amazing people. Okay, so this is, like I said, this is the very first one. This is another one we made as a pocket pen or purse pen or checkbook pen. It is very small. It does not post, but as you can see, it's still big enough to write with. And this is made with an Apollo kit from Bullseye Turning. Oh, you got a Momo pool. That's awesome. Way to go. Darren does some incredible work, and there'll be some of it here on the table. Hi, Debbie. So this was in, I forget what we call this, pumpkin spice. It's the smallest one on the table. And let's break down the basic parts of a fountain pen. Let's go with that. And this is another Apollo kit while I'm at it. This was actually made by one of our members, Steve Miller, or as you all know, Swiss Steve. This is a whiskey barrel blank with buffalo horn ends. And this is on an Apollo kit. It's definitely a cool pen. Seeing all the grain and the white oak, and Steve's finish is absolutely stunning, especially on wood. To get such a great CA finish is amazing. Beautiful work. Uh, Whenever he gave this to me when we were at the Ohio Pen Turners gathering, I think there might even be ink in there that I forgot about. You typically don't want to leave them inked if you're not using them. It is. It does have a cartridge in it. I'll deal with that later. Yeah, this is. Hey, Debbie. This is probably one of the cooler ones on the table. Definitely really high ingenuity. But this was a whiskey barrel blank, and this is actual buffalo horn on the ends. But when I drove home that weekend, I couldn't put it down. I kept just twisting into my fingers on the drive home. Oh, no worry about the cartridge. I should have taken it out beforehand. Okay, some pens, and actually, that's a really good thing to take out, Steve. We'll take it out now because I could use it for a demo. Some people don't prefer to refill their ink. Some people prefer to use a cartridge. I prefer to refill the ink with a converter, or refill the pen with a converter. So we'll start with this one. This is one that I carry in my pocket every day. We're gonna break it down and show you the pieces. Can we see well, or do I need to zoom in? We see good? Do we need to zoom in a little? Okay. Hey, Darren. So, like I said, this is one I carry in my pocket. It is just a matte finish, rounded dome end. I don't know the overall length of it. I can tell you. As soon as I find a set of calipers. It would be 5.39, or those in a metric system, it's 136 millimeters. But, anyways, back to business. I carry this one in my pocket every day. It's got a good feel to it. I personally like the texture of the matte finish. This is, as far as fountain pen parts go, this would be the cap. This would be what's known as a section, an ink converter, and a nib. Now, I'm not going to take the nib out of there because I already have it set. But typically, inside of this nib would be this nib section. This happens to be threaded for 10 by 1 millimeter. And this is a nib unit. This is a nib unit for a Yowo number 6. This would consist of the parts inside of it. And inside any fountain pen nib, there's going to be the nib plate itself. There's going to be a feeder, which is this. Looks like there was ink on this at one time. I'm going to have dirty hands, but regardless. When it refers to a number 6 is this plate size and this feeder size. But as far as nib housings go, this is a Yowo number 6 housing. It will hold any standard number 6 feeder and plate, but this does not fit in every section. Sections can be made of various housings that fit different sections. It all depends on what your maker used. Yeah, it's going to be a mess. So I'll put this nib unit back together. Always slide your feeder and section in as best as you can together. Try to keep them aligned. Okay, it's fully seated. And you want to be able to look at your nib and see if your tines are center of where they need to be. Do not typically adjust them. This is actually a nib that I use for pen making. It is not one I write with. One of the tines is bent. But as you can see, it's all back together. Typically, once you put a nib in a section, you don't have to change it unless you want to change to a different type. I do recommend a little bit of silicone grease. You can buy this at most pen making stores. And if you apply a little bit of silicone grease to your threads right here in your body, this will prevent, most of the time, this will prevent ink from leaking through the threads if you were to have a leak in your cartridge. But it also aids in the assembly of the nib and section. This is just for demonstration purposes, so I'm not putting any on there. Okay, so this would be the nib and section for here. Every maker has a different size section, different size for whatever application they're using. This happens to be ours. If you're watching most makers, you're going to see different sections in various sizes. Sometimes, if they have extra material and it's of the right size, they will make just a section unit. Sometimes it's fun to mix and match different sections for different pens. If you had a black pen, you could mix this hot pink nib or flat pink nib or blue nib, anything you wanted. Or section, sorry, not nib. Sorry, section. And then you're going to have a body, and your body is usually whatever your cap thread is. It could be a 13, a 12, 14, or 15. Some 11s, and I believe some 10s, but 10 is very, very small. And this side will be externally threaded for your cap. And this side will be internally threaded for your section. In our case, this is 10 by 1. And the section in the cap is threaded as 13 by 0.08, which is a triple start. Triple start meaning, and I'll show you, and if I'm quiet enough, you might be able to hear it. So meaning that if you put this together, it can start in 3 different places and line up 3 different patterns. Oop, you see it click, and it'll line up different. We'll go 2 clicks, and it lines up different yet. A triple start allows you to take your cap off quickly without much resistance, and it makes for a nicer feel and oftentimes a nicer pen. Pardon me. Good job. I'm glad to see it, Momo. Glad to see Darren with us as well. Darren knows far more about this than I do. And we are going to have a mess at this rate. This orange mat is a good thing to keep down, just to keep things clean and tidy so you're not getting ink all over everything like I typically do. This is actually a model assembly mat for like model cars. That's from Hobby Lobby. But I found it to be great for fountain pens and such. I can find the link for it. It's inexpensive. They're like $10. So then you have a converter, which would be this. And depending on the size of pen you have, like our mini pen, not all converters would be the same. Converters can be depending on the size pen you have and the operation. I didn't bring one down, but I have a Coeco brass pen, Coeco Sport brass. It takes a much shorter converter. The shorter the pen, the shorter the converter. Typically, most of your pens are going to take a standard converter. I prefer the Schmidt K5. Hi, Marlo. This would be a Coeco Sport converter. Let's zoom in here a little bit. And there's even one that's shorter because remember when you put your converter together and you draw ink in, this is going to still be sticking up. If you need a super short converter, such as the mini pen, right here, it has a nib, sorry, it has a converter that actually has this little piece that swings up. So you would push it in, draw your ink, and as you pull it in, then you would fold this back down and it would end up very short. As you can see, it is much shorter than this, and it's what fits in our mini pen. Mm. The Schmidt K5 and the Coeco Sport are international standard size. That is a generic size name to buy cartridges if you need them. Correct. This would be an international long, and the Coeco Sport is an international short. This one is not a standard of any size. It's much shorter. And you can also get one of your makers to make an Apollo or an Artemis. This would be an, an Apollo and an Artemis. And this is using, these are 5 inches overall length. And they would take this Coeco Sport converter for this size. And these are made out of ebonite. We did make them in-house, but there are other talented people in the group that could make them. And this is the Apollo and the Artemis from Bullseye Turning. Go back to converters. So your converter, when inside your pen, would connect to your nib internally in here. Oh, sorry. So when you're seating this, you're going to seat your converter into this nib. And this piece being inserted in creates an open seal. As you can see, there's a small galley right here in small tube. And inside here, this is in a vacuum because you drew the ink up. It would fit like this. Have I lost anybody? Does anybody have any questions? Am I going too fast? Surely there's somebody with a question. Ha! Did I lose you, Steve? This is the beauty of using the Apollos, as you can make several that fit the same size. This one fits our mini pen. There will be a quiz at the end or get booted from the group if you don't pass. Ha! I love it. I love seeing the camaraderie and community this group has. It's always good to watch, always fun to watch. Huh. Okay, I feel let's take a break from the learning part of it for a minute. Let's look at some pens. I'm going to put these converters over here. Going to leave the parts out just in case anyone has any questions that arise. I will put this back together. This one happens to be inked in one of my new favorite inks. I've been a huge fan of the Pilot Irushizuku. I probably screwed that up, but it's you see it and pronounce it, you'll understand. I've been a real big fan of the blue from Pilot for a long time, and recently I purchased a pen and some ink from River City Pen Company that was made with a blank of ours. What is the difference between an Apollo and an Artemis? Great question, Joan. Absolutely great question. So they can be made of the same length as you see. The Apollo, if you look at the diameters, the Apollo is a slightly smaller section. Oftentimes, it fits a smaller hand better. Yes, the blue is got to be my favorite, if not my all-time favorite. But I recently picked up another color that I like a lot as well. The Artemis is going to be a little bigger. So if you're looking at the sections, which are metal in this case, you can physically see, even though the pens are the same length, this one has a much bigger nib. Some people like a big fat nib. This one has a smaller nib. And this section is smaller in diameter and less pronounced on the end, whereas the Artemis is a more superior pen. It's a little bigger, and the relief for the finger is a little more pronounced. But they take the same ink, everything else, except for the Artemis is a bigger pen overall here than the Apollo. I prefer the Artemis. And if you, and they are a triple start as well. Actually, I think they're quad start. I got it right that time. See this? And they line up seamlessly. What's up, Marcus? And they come in MRE type bags. Steve on a side note that maybe crayons ready to eat. Sorry. Sorry for the laughter. Thicker than peanut butter. Glenn, did I miss a comment? What blank were you looking for? Okay, so let's look at a few pens. There are a few in this arrangement that are from makers, and I'll go with one of the makers that's in the chat with us. As we said earlier, this one is from Swiss Steve or Steve Miller. Oh, oh, I see. So that one is from Steve Miller. This one, this one, and this one are all made with blanks from us at some point. These were from us, and these are all made by Darren. Darren does great work. They're all of different thicknesses, different shapes. They are all absolutely beautiful. This was in a material we only made two of. Darren ended up with one. I sat on the material for a long time. It looked very ugly on the outside. I wasn't sure that it was ever going to turn out well. And Darren made an absolutely beautiful and stunning pen with it. Absolutely beautiful and stunning. This is made with our Gulf livery. This is made once again by Darren. Of all the blanks we make, the Gulf livery is probably hands down my favorite. I have more in this than I do in any other thing we make. This one Darren made from a piece of our abalone or mother of pearl look. These are a 13 millimeter section, a 13 millimeter cap, I believe. Darren, correct me if I'm wrong. We'll find out in just a second. Nope, 13 millimeter. Okay. I like the livery. Yeah, only the abalone is 14. And then the abalone is something that Darren made. It has a nice copper band in it. And he used a nice black piece of like under the bed. I don't believe that's ebonite right there, and just black resin. So this is under the bed black. And this is a 14 millimeter cap, which allows for a bigger section and a fatter section. I find that if my hands are tired and I'm writing a lot, I like to use this because it is much bigger. And it is still Yo number 6, and it writes very well. The pen is beautifully made. I have zero complaints and absolutely love it. It's one of my favorites. And he did put a roll stop in it so that it doesn't roll off the table like some. Like which one, Linda? Correct, resin. Okay. Which pen, Linda? The abalone, the last one. Yes, we have more abalone. Darren can hook you up, or I can hook you up, or somebody else. We have plenty of more material. It is a beautiful, beautiful pen. I love it. Okay, we have some more pens from other makers in the group. This one is from Reese Wilson, or Reese's Pieces on Instagram. This was a blank that we made a couple of as an experiment. Reese turned this one. As you can see, the nib is engraved with RP for Reese's Pieces. This is an extra fine nib. We can go over that shortly. It's a long pen. It's very well made. I like it a lot. It's very comfortable to use. It has a nice big section, a nice long section compared to some. This piece is the section. When in return, because of a longer section, you have to have a longer cap. As you can see, the cap is longer than most, but it threads together beautifully. And because he tapers the shape, the cap post on the body. So when you're using it, you don't have to worry about where to set the cap down. That's regular abalone, Darren. It's not purple. That's just standard abalone. This is a very well made pen as well. Check him out on Instagram, Reese's Pieces. This one, these next three are from, actually, we'll go with this one first. This one is from RRS Pen Company, Rich Seisman. This was the March competition pen from the Pen Maker Showcase. I liked the pen and I reached out to him and purchased it. It was made with blanks entirely from us. About a month prior to the March competition, he bought the clear sections or clear blanks so he could make an ink window. I don't have a nib in it, but the blank itself is beautiful. The pen is beautiful. It writes very well. It has a nice black clip. Okay, the next couple are, actually, let's go with one more. There is another gentleman in the group named Sean Mastrino. He operates Artisan Ink. He's out of Ohio, and this is a blank that I made early on in our blank making stuff career. It is slightly transparent. It's actually very transparent in some places. This does have a Yoa nib in it. Sean does a really good job if you're looking for any pens that are polished inside and out. So internally polished like this. Sean is your guy to look for demonstrators. He loves to internal polish pens and does amazing work. As you can see, the detail in this as well, that there's clear up here and the cap is clear, and he step drills it. So one step to here, one step to there. And the section comes out very smooth. And the section would be clear as well in the body. He does make full demonstrators that are entirely clear, that have no resin color. This threads together very well. Sean does incredible work. This is a beautiful demonstrator. How do you internally polish? There are some videos on YouTube. We don't have a video on internal polishing, but there are some on YouTube you can find. So you're going to find that internal polishing, not a lot of makers want to do it or like to do it because of the time consumption. It may take an additional 2 to 4 hours to internal polish. The internal polishing is a long, 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 and tedious process. It is very time consuming. Not a lot of makers want to do it. And for good reason, because of the length of time that it takes. And it usually increases the cost of a pen greatly because of the time spent internal polishing. I feel very blessed. We feel, my wife and I, sorry, feel very blessed to have been able to collect such amazing pens from such talented, talented makers. There are some truly talented people in the world, and we've been blessed to meet them. Okay. So this was from W. Scott Lewis. He operates TriStar Studio. They are out of Tennessee. This was actually made from two square blanks from us from a while back, probably over a year ago, maybe two. Oh yeah, there are lots of rabbit holes. I did in school. Yeah, there are a lot of talented and amazing people. This is probably the skinniest of all the pens we have, or the narrowest of all the pens we have. Like I said, this is from Scott Lewis. His nib is engraved. TriStar Studio, and the cap post on the back, and makes for a very comfortable pen. And because his diameter is so much smaller, it allows for an almost seamless transition right here in the grip section. Thanks, Dev. Thanks, Glenn. Yes, I haven't ventured into making any of this small yet. I do believe that this is still a 13 millimeter. We'll find out in just a second. You will find that a lot of fountain pen collectors do not always ink every pen they have. Usually they only ink them if they're in a rotation to use them. So yes, even though this is a 13 millimeter, like some of the others, it's just made a little skinnier, more narrow, more thin. But like I said, it makes for a seamless, almost seamless step right here. And if you find that over time your pens, your threads seem a little dry, you can easily apply some of your silicone grease, and then in return, it makes for a smoother thread and a nicer feel. Thread it on and off a few times, work everything in. You can wipe any excess off on a paper towel. That way it doesn't transfer to your fingers or your hands as you use it. You just need a little bit. And this is a very beautiful pen with a lot of crazy detail in the blank. Here's another pen made by TriStar Studios, W. Scott Lewis. This was made from a hybrid that I made. It could use a little grease too. We'll grease it up as well. Schmidt K5 converter, which you will find in most of the kitless pens that are made, are going to be a Schmidt K5. This is red moly burl and then custom resin. Scott did a beautiful job on this. It's not super shiny, it's a slightly matte finish, but a beautiful hybrid pen. This is W. Scott Lewis. Sorry, Momo, your question is what is it called again? It's TriStar Studios, and this is silicone grease. Oh, Lord. You're welcome. Thank you, Momo. And all makers make different size pens. I mean, these both are from Scott Lewis, and there's a huge difference in size. This one posts on the tail. This one, I don't believe. No, it doesn't post. And when it comes to nibs, I prefer medium or fine, sometimes an extra fine if I'm going to draw with it. This is a black nib. Nibs can come in gold, stainless, two-tone, gold, and silver, which I can show you. We'll get to some nibs in a minute. Like I said, we have felt incredibly blessed to be able to collect such amazing pens from so many talented people. And these are all kitless. And here is one final one from W. Scott Lewis when he is with TriStar Studio. This was, I believe, the August Maker's pen. I liked it, so I purchased it from him. You can see the detail work in the band. It has a nice taper. This one, he didn't do it to this one or the other one. This one carries his signature TriStar, if it'll focus or not, in the finial. It's made out of brass. And this is our end of summer bash. This was a showcase blank, and it did a beautiful job. These are available on unbelievableutensils.com. This blank is available 24 hours a day. One of my favorite. Yes, you can buy silicone grease from a couple different fountain pen places. I would recommend, I think this is from Fountain Pen Revolution, but a lot of your fountain pen stationery stores. If you're in Arizona, you can check out the work. If you're in Scottsdale, Arizona, you can check out the work of Reese's Pieces in person and some other beautiful pens. He works at Penchetta in Scottsdale, Arizona. It is the pen maker showcase is amazing. The name of this blank is End of Summer Bash. I can show you what it looks like before it's turned. Have some in the drawer to be turned. I think I do. We can show you that if you would like. These are already cut to be turned. Just a few. Those are awaiting being made. Hopefully at some point. I do have some time off over the next week. So hopefully I get some of those made into pens. And I'm looking for an end of summer bash. Hmm, I may not have one up here or over here. I can't believe I don't, but I don't. Hmm. But it is an absolutely beautiful pen. I'll have to remedy that. I'm surprised I don't have another end of summer batch, but it is absolutely beautiful. Hmm. That's really shocking. I thought I had one of a lot of them over here. End of summer bash is one of the most beautiful blanks that we make. It's very fun. It's very lively. I have a golf livery to make, Darren, but I do not have an end of summer bash. We do have some new ones that we haven't named yet that were in the drawer. Yeah, there's some on the website. Let me catch up some of the comments here. Yeah, yeah, end of summer bash is stunning. It's beautiful. But like I said, here are some other new blanks. This one is actually different than, if you noticed last week, we had a couple purple pens posted. They were made with this blank, and we also have one with a little more silver in it, like this. We don't have a name for this one. I have a name for. The one that you saw the two pins made with is known as Regal Majesty, Purple Majesty, sorry. But I don't have a name for this one yet. And I do have one of these to try to make in the next week. This is the one that will have the wispy light colors and look a lot like clouds or cotton candy. I did turquoise this time, but sometimes we do them with pink and blue and green, and that is known as the Derby Day. I don't believe they're uploaded on the website, but they will be this week. It will be next week. Hmm. I don't have an in the summer bash. I'm really shocked. I can snag one from the shop shortly. I do have an experiment we made that's in this drawer that is called Aurora Borealis. I'll show you the body piece. We only made two of them as an experiment. Oh, sorry. They will be wild. I have both of them to make. Um, some of you, I know Steve got one. Some of you snagged the Midnight Ballerina. Here's one of the Midnight Ballerina blank returned. This is hot pink, black, and red. These will be very interesting turn. There's a bunch of other stuff in there to be made too. There's a Momo pool in there and a Deadpool. Okay, so let's get back on track here with some pens. But this is End of Summer Bash. This one was made by W. Scott Lewis. It won that month in August, and I loved it enough that I purchased it from him. Hey, my lovely wife joined us. Thanks, love. Hi, Momo. Merry Christmas to everyone. You love yours so much you kept it one of the favorites. Yes, the End of Summer Bash is beautiful. Some of the other ones that you saw in that drawer will be stunning. I just have to get the time to make them. Perfect, gentlemen. Wow, man, the crap is deep, and I only have on Crocs. You may need some more Momo Pool and Deadpool. There are some Deadpool headed to you. They got shipped out already this week. There's Deadpool 2 and Deadpool 3. The original Deadpool I don't have any longer, but there is Deadpool 2 and Deadpool 3 headed to you. Let's see if I can find a piece of Deadpool in here. Yeah, this is original Deadpool 1. This was the last blank of original Deadpool 1. Don't have a flashlight handy to shine backwards through it. But when you turn them, they are almost opaque burgundy with black veins inside of them. Darren is the only one I know that has finished one, finished a couple. Steve hasn't. They may look black, but they are not solid black. If my wife is still on there, I would ask her to have Tyler bring me down the flashlight that's in my work pants. Wow. Steve has the Deadpool one. It is in his case. I'll see if I can get him to post some pictures of it. It is wild. But if you're curious as to, this is under the bed. This is pure black with nothing in it but black. And this is Deadpool 1 beside it. There were only six Deadpool 1s. The five were sold, and I have one left. It's a flashlight that is in my left leg pocket of my work pants. Which sounds like Tyler is going to get it, which is great. That'll be awesome. Okay. So, but Deadpool one is crazy. The Momo pool is awesome as well. Momo, our great moderator and amazing person, is what inspired the Momo pool. I believe there is a Momo pool in this drawer. There is. There's also a purple pearl, Darren. Check this out. This was an experiment that we made. I really like to experiment. I never know how they're going to come out. They always seem to surprise us. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Here is a This is Royal Jacaranda. These were in a drop. We will have some new blanks. I don't know if we'll drop any next week after Christmas or not. We may wait until the following first week of the year. Hey, thanks, Tyler. Okay. Now we can see the difference between black and Deadpool. Yeah, that pearl will be. I should have poured more than one, but that's the only one I ever poured. Hey, thanks, love. Thanks for sending Tyler down with the light. If anybody need to work light, these are what I've found to be the best. They're very handy. I'm not a salesman. This is just something we use a lot. I use it for work. This is a Nebo Slim 1200. It is magnetic here and on the back, and it will support itself stuck to a piece of metal hanging 180 degrees. Super handy and rechargeable. And also, if need be, it's a USB-C power bank. You can plug your cord into this and charge a phone. Super handy. But okay, so hopefully I don't blind anybody with the light. But as you can see the black veins inside of the. Yeah, the Deadpool is wild. They're even more crazy turned. This is an original Deadpool 1. Deadpool 2 is a little more red and a little more transparent, and Deadpool 3 is really close. It's just slightly darker. Hey, thanks, JC. The Deadpool is crazy when it's turned. When it's in a standard office, you never see it. It looks black. But if you have a corner office or an office that gets light, you can see the color radiating through. And it looks real similar to the Deadpool mask. It is really cool, Joan. Yeah, it's awesome. Like I said, the end of summer bash is from TriStar Studio, and I have some recent new pens, two of which from a gentleman that is actually not far from me. He's very close. His name is Rich Paul. He runs the River City Pen Company. When you purchase a pen from him, it comes with a card to let you know what size, what nib, and what blank it's from. In this case, he didn't write the blank maker, just the blank name, because obviously they were from us. This was the October pen competition or pen maker showcase. This is called the All Hallows Eve, and this is in his famous, he calls low luster finish. You can see the black, you can see, man, the light's hitting the glitter. Let's see if I can catch some more of that light. Where'd I flash that go? Nope. Actually does a worse job. Okay, let's just go back to the standard light. So this blank is called the All Hallows Eve. You can see the big glitter in it. You can see the black. You can see the orange, wispy colors down through it with the black nib. Nice short thread for the body to cap. And you can see the transparent purple in there, which is a wild effect. I was going to use a transparent black, but it was an idea to use transparent purple. And when you see the All Hallows Eve as a blank, you don't see the transparent purple in there. So here is an All Hallows Eve. This would be a body piece. You don't see it. You don't see the transparent purple in there at all. But when it's turned and you find the surprise, like Momo called it, what lies beneath, then you can see the transparent purple, which he did in a matte finish on the inside so that the purple would stand out and not be totally see-through. Very awesome pen. And this is River City Pen Company. And also, he makes something that we don't make, but it's a really neat concept. But I apologize, I don't have a Kakamori nib to go in it. But this is what's known as a nib holder. So this would be a dip pen. So a nib holder, or oftentimes called a dip pen, will be a shaped blank. And this is in the Gulf livery. This is called a contoured nib holder. And on the end, it has a nib placement. I don't know if a standard nib fits in that or not, but I have a Kakamori nib ordered. And as soon as it gets here, I'll gladly do another video. Darren, do you know if a standard nib fits in that or not? I don't think so. But if you were using it as a dip pen, you would put, and you can use it as calligraphy. They make lots of different nibs. It does fit in there. So you could put your nib if you wanted to try it out without inking a pen, and you can put whatever nib you want in there. And it slips right in. Wow, that's awesome. You bought one in the livery. The livery is one of my favorite, hands down. It's probably my very favorite color pattern. I'm glad to see somebody else loves it as much as I do. Thanks, Darren. But you can put a standard nib in this, and you can put a Kakamori nib, which I will show you that is totally different than this. We can do some videos in time on the Kakamori nib versus the standard nib. But you would normally, this is a dip pen. It does not have a converter. You would dip this in your inkwell, right, till it ran out, and dip again. But it is a really neat, very, very neat pen. Yeah, the Gulf livery is crazy what comes out of them. Here's one in livery, and this is a pen from Darren in livery. And this is a nib holder from River City Pen Company. When you purchase from him, Comes in a nice slide box, and your pen is inside of it. And your pen will come with a card as well. But these are both from the River City Pen Company. This nib holder and the All Hallows Eve pen. The October pens were gorgeous. All of them were gorgeous in that. Okay. We do have some more pens. We can show you there are some more work in progress. Let me put away the beautiful Maker's pens. Like I said, once again, blessed to be able to own such beautiful work from such talented people. Oh, wrong box. This is from Sean at Artisan Ink. These three are from W. Scott Lewis of TriStar Studios. River City Pen Company. I really like Rich's case. It's a great idea. This is from RRS Pen Co. This is from Reese's Pieces. These three are from Darren. And this one is from the famous for Steve or Steve Miller. World famous. World famous. World famous Steve Miller. Okay. Do we have any questions? We had a stopping point that anybody needs a drink, needs to go to the bathroom. Eight pens in the livery collection. That's more than I have. And I make the blanks. Wow. Great job, Darren. The livery is my favorite. Good job, Darren. Nice. Here is a Hello Fall. Does not have a nib in it, but it has some beautiful color. This is Hello Fall. This is available on the website. This one we are calling the Golden Rose pen, and it is made with, honestly, with blanks that didn't sell. This is our famous Golden Rose color, and then I put a mix match or a contrast of colors on the ends. This pen is much shorter than some of the others and a little thinner. This is a beautiful lady's pen. It does not glow in the dark, Steve. It can be your favorite. I'll gladly allow that. I love it. It's an awesome color pattern. And it was inspired by the Gulf livery Le Mans cars and stuff like that of the 80s. Oh, Lord. I'm sure you ladies have a huge diamond painting collection. This pen will be available for sale at some point. It'll get listed. Or if you're interested, reach out. This one was a little bit of a flat top on the the pink and I didn't like it, so I put a dome on it. It needs polished. A beautiful, just plain flat pink. It does have a slight taper, not enough to post, but it does have a slight taper. I might change that. I might change it to post. That's a good idea. Best in the universe. Do you use them all? Yeah, they use them all at some point. Here is one that we are working on out of ebonite, green ebonite. Just trying to figure out some models, some features, rounded ends, semi-dome ends. It does have a contrasting section. Here is one that we're working on for that needs polishing. We did make this one on the live 2 weeks ago. Well, we did a live on a Saturday. We did make this one. It is ready to polish. Steve, you're gonna get canned. Here's another fun one that we're working on. It'll have standard cap, nib and converter. This was made out of a couple blanks that didn't sell. They were squares. I still need to turn the body down. Holy cow, Jen. What's quite a collection. Here are two fun ones that are a work in progress. I wasn't sure if we wanted red pens with green sections, so they can be made solid red or red and green, contrasting fennials, right? Do love red, and then we could be really fun, which the sections, they still need polished. Ta-da! Steve says we should put gold sections in them. These, Darren, were actually made with some blanks that were from the drops that were just plain red and green blanks. I'm not sure where I put the extra two. I had two up on the bench, but they're just plain red and green blanks. And I decided to cut them up and segment them, make them into a couple sections. Here is one in the Marcus famous Buckeye. It needs polished. And here's one in something that has been very, very, very famous as a big hit. If there are any interest, I can make a few pens available. This one is not available for sale, but I can make some more pens available in this same pattern. This is in Muddy Girl with turquoise ends. And this is actually in an Apollo. Yeah, me too, Darren. Stephanie has been trying to kill Steve and I to get one of these. I will make some more. Pink and black. Do you want pink and black like somewhere here? Do you want pink and black like this? Sure. You have two of them now. This is the very first one I made in Muddy Girl with the turquoise ends. Turquoise and blue ends, royal blue ends. I will make some more of the pens themselves available. Yeah, the turquoise is gorgeous. The turquoise and blue as a pen would be amazing as well. The beauty of an Apollo, if you have one of the makers make you an Apollo, the beauty of it is on the days you want to use it as a fountain pen, you can. You can put a converter in it and use it as a fountain pen. Yes, finished pens will be available on the website, probably the first of the year. But you can use a standard converter and a fountain pen section, or if you're traveling on an airplane and you're worried about your fountain pen leaking, if you have an Apollo, you can get your maker to have supply you with a roller ball section or the fountain pen section. So, depending on what you're feeling, and this is available in the Apollo or the Artemis, you can do this with either one. We do have options available that if you are looking to get a kitless pen made, we can make it with a roller ball section as well. Or we can make it with an adapter, or you could buy it with a standard Yo 06 fountain pen or an adapter in Yo 06 and still run a roller ball. And the beauty of running a roller ball from us like this is that it still takes a converter, just like a fountain pen, and you can still have all of the joy of the colors of fountain pen ink with a rollerball. You can get it as a rollerball, Linda. It's a beautiful thing, and it still runs a standard converter. And as always, if you're purchasing a fountain pen from us, it will come in a 3D printed box, most likely similar to colors matching your pen. 3D printed slide top box. How does the ink get sucked up with a rollerball? So normally you would stick the entire section in the inkwell, but with a rollerball, you could do it two ways. You can have the section or the not section, the converter open. You can get a needle from most of your fountain pen suppliers, like Fountain Pens Revolution. You can draw the ink up in the needle and you can put it inside and fill your converter. I can actually show you that. Let's do that. Because I'll put this one in the pen. Let me move these pens just in case I make a bigger accident. And we do have on the website some night in gold and silver. And these hold your pens. Sorry, like so. It's a nice desk additive. Okay, so if you're going to fill this, let's fill it with something interesting. I think I have a little bit of this left. So this is from the Birmingham Pen Company. It's out of just outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I do have this is a little bit of Tesla coil that is left. Good idea, Dan. But you would draw the make sure your ink, which has already had Tesla coil in it before. Yeah, why is this in such a vacuum? Must be dried ink in there. Here we go. So pull it out. Make sure your needle is clean. You can clean it with rubbing alcohol or pen flush, either one. And it appears mine has dried material in it. So we'll try the other one. I have a bigger one. Okay, so we would stick the needle down inside. Hmm, not much in there, but you would draw. I thought there was more than that in there. There's not. You would draw this out. You would stick this inside your converter. Ooh, more than enough. Once again, this is why we have the mat. And a little bit of rubbing alcohol will clean this up just fine. Be forewarned that if you have fountain pens, you will get ink on your fingers. Most of it is not permanent and usually washes off pretty easy. Typically, I don't make this big of a mess. but it happens. This mat is just a model assembly mat from Hobby Lobby. I'll try to find the link for it and post it. As you can see, it cleans up easily, and it is a beautiful blue color. Some people like to wear latex gloves when they ink their pens. It's not always a bad decision. I don't mind it. Usually it washes off before morning. It happens. Usually with a little bit of ink or a little bit of alcohol and a good scrubbing, it'll come off. Okay. For now, hmm, oh yeah, yeah, it's gonna happen. But that is a beautiful, beautiful color ink. Let's find something to put it in. What do I have a nib in? Got a nib in this one of Steve's, right? It was previously inked. Oh man, nope. Forgot you have to use a modified one with this one because we shortened the blanks. Let me find something else because the color is gorgeous. And I'd like to be able to show you the difference in two different color inks. I have a notebook we can write in. Let's put it in the well, let's put it in the ebonite. And we'll find a nib to put in there. I think I have some medium nibs. Yeah, there's a medium. What are these two? Extra fine, extra fine. I think that one's actually a broad, but okay. I have a medium. Actually, we'll put a little bit of grease on this for assembly. You were right, Palm. I was going to be a mess. That was a given. It happened. Part of it. I enjoy teaching others about fountain pens. Hopefully, they grow to love them as much as I do. I carry that black and red one in black, red, and gold one in my pocket every day. And I don't have a desk job by any means. I have a very physical job, and it survives just fine. Okay. This is a medium nib. We will put our converter in. Like I'm getting more ink from somewhere. But regardless, okay. Let's get a notebook out. This is a Lectum notebook. It is 80 weight paper. Papers come in lots of different weights for fountain pens. This is today's date would be 12/23. So we may have to move it around a little bit to get some ink down. If you notice that you're having ink issues coming down, you can take your pen and very carefully, not rough like I did with the converter, you can twist your converter to where you push a little bit of ink down to the end, and you can see it start to flow there. Wipe any excess. Okay, we should have ink flowing. If not, keep repeating the process until you do. And eventually you'll get it to flow just fine. But brand new, sometimes it takes a little bit of convincing, but it will work. Just don't get frustrated. We'll let this sit a second, see if it doesn't work any better. But I'll write in this one, today's date. This is in Urban Ripple from Charlie's Private Label. This is from River City Pen Company. This is Charlie's Private Label. And you will see the color in it. Today is 12/23/25. And this is Urban Ripple. Okay. And let's see if this works now. Hey, there we go. This would be 12/23/25. This is a medium nib. This is a fine nib. I should write that. This is a fine. There's the super thin line. And this is a medium. And this is Tesla coil. This is one of my, I would say, more preferred inks from the Birmingham Pen Company. But as you can see the difference, much thicker. The Tesla coil is a much darker ink. The Urban Ripple is a much lighter ink. Yes, there is fountain pen friendly paper. Rodeo makes some beautiful fountain pen paper. This is a Lectum. I believe it's a 1917. Let's see if I can find a, yeah, Lectum 1917. There's an 80 weight paper. They make 120 weight paper. It works very well. As you see, it doesn't run. I'll leave this open. You can write my name with each. We can do that on another live too, to show the difference in nibs and how wide they write. You can get broad nibs as well. And Broadway, it's even bigger. Pardon me, I have terrible handwriting, but I like to write a lot. Pens, nibs, filler styles, ink papers are all a rabbit hole to go down. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. How much time do we have left? We have about 15 minutes. Let's go over some inks. You saw how the paper performs. You've seen lots of beautiful pens. Some like theirs. I mean, they're just stunning. Let's go over some ink besides what's on my fingers, right? Besides this, but it'll come off. This was the last of that. Some of the fountain pens that we sold. First, I gave out some ink samples of Tesla coil. Typically, when you purchase a pen from us, you will get a sample of ink. This is the Urban Ripple I like a lot lately, and the more I use it, the more I continue to like it. This is Pilot, a Rusho Zuki. Hmm, takes a degree in engineering to get it out of the box. It's a beautiful blue color. Beautiful. Hey, Darren, I just thought of something. We can do that on another live. When I get the other nib, we'll do some ink swatching so you all can see the beautiful colors. Tesla coil is from the Birmingham Pen Company. This is Pilot Zuko. Tesla coil comes from the Birmingham Pen Company, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Pilot Zuko is a very good quality ink. No complaints. This used to be my all-time favorite, but the more I use the Charlie's Private Label, the more I'm beginning to like it. Looks like a perfume bottle. Yes, very similar. And when it comes to ink bottles, there are so many types, so many shapes. This is some Pilot Urushizuku. This is the Kasumi, and the other one was the Amiro, Amairo. This is the Kasumoso. This is a beautiful pink ink. Beautiful, beautiful pink ink. Hey, Darren, I wonder if we can. Yeah, I don't have time. Let's just say we'll swatch this, but we'll do some ink swatching. I also have some advent calendars that I didn't open, Darren. We can swatch out of those as well. Maybe we'll start doing that each week. We'll add an ink swatch for the live. I have the Colorverse Color Vent and the Diamine Ink Vent from this year and last year. Yeah, the pink ink is awesome. I do have some wasted paper, Stephanie Blue ink. This is almost like Tiffany blue, but a little darker. It's very teal. This is Diamond Blue Lightning. This is a shimmer ink. We will do a broad test with it. I will probably use the Kakamori nib. This is a shimmer ink. As you can see, there's some on the. This is a really brilliant blue color, but this will have glitter in it. This will be a really shiny, really eye-catching ink. And remember not to sign any important documents unless you are using document ink. Standard fountain pen ink is not permanent. They do make document ink. Most of your colors and stuff like this are not permanent. They do make a document ink that is permanent. Want to be sure I threw that out there. Definitely interested in the ink swatching. Yeah, love that pink ink. Yes. How are you supposed to store the ink cartridge if you remove it from the pen? The best thing to do is to write with that ink until that cartridge is empty. If it's just a cartridge, you can just take it out. Nothing needed. But if it is a converter, I always recommend to use it until that converter is empty. And then when it's empty, you can use pen flush or you can use water or alcohol. Pen flush works to flush your parts out of your nib and your and such as well. You can draw some of this up with a needle, put it in your converter, and twist it down, and it will flush everything out. Yeah, the ink swatching is a really fun thing too. But one of these mats is super handy for your fountain pen stuff because it has so many pockets. You have little places to put things here, here, here. Lots of stuff in here. Places that things won't roll off. It's super handy. I believe these ones are magnetic over here. Yeah. So, but super handy. All right, we have 10 minutes. So let's go through some of this Birmingham ink. This one is called the Fighting Fish. It's a beautiful blue color. I like Birmingham because some of their inks, they have awesome, artwork on the bottle. Does it dry up quickly if not in use? Not typically if it's stored in the pen. I would say it would take a couple weeks to dry up. Oh yeah, never put if you draw ink out of the bottle, never put it back in. That's how mold gets started in your bottle of ink. Yes, you could use a lathe buddy, but it will stain them. But the silicone mat, super handy. This one is called Tiger Lily. How often should you clean the pen out? Every time you change ink. If you're going to continue to refill the pen, there's no worry. But if you're going to change it out, then I would. This is a beautiful orange color. These are from the Birmingham Ink Company, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh is only an hour and a half for me, and it's real close to River City Pen Company. Yes, you should store your fountain pens when not using them with the nib up. There's less likely to leak. This is another orangish rust color. This is rusted rivet. We'll definitely do some ink swatching on the next live or on a live. We will have a live next week. We have been trying to schedule to make sure that we don't miss any. This one is a purple ink. This is lunar stardust or lunar dust. It's gorgeous. I should have a Kakamori nib by next week, and I'll have some other nib holders so we can do some ink swatching. I purchased some other nib holders, just some inexpensive ones from Amazon. Are the inks expensive? Inks can range from $3 or $4 a bottle, $5 a bottle, and up. They can get expensive, but not always. And a bottle of ink will last a long time. If you do the math, I don't think this one has a size on it somewhere, but to a converter, and you were to use a bottle the size of the Tesla coil, you would get roughly 30 refills, 40 refills to a bottle. This is 30 ml. An ink sample, which would come from us in a sample size bottle. I cannot seem to find here, handy. Most sample vials are 5 mLs, like so. And you would get roughly 1 to 1.5 mLs per converter, depending on your size. You're going to get roughly 4 to 5 or 3 to 5 refills out of an ink sample. We do have ink vial holders as well. You could put your ink vial. Hmm, Ink is a huge rabbit hole, but you can use this when you're refilling your pens. So put it on your mat. You could put your body. I'm sure somebody else will start printing these as well, but we typically have them available. Hmm. But your body would sit here. You would take your ink nib, stick it all the way down inside the sample, say our sample into the top. You would make sure that it was fully submerged in the sample all the way to here, like such, and then turn your converter down and back out to dry your ink back up. And this prevents the ink from getting knocked over. And then you pick your body back up and put your pen back together. But these are super handy for your ink samples. And they are little elephants. And it keeps your sample from getting knocked over when you're filling it up. And it holds your body so it's not rolling around anywhere else. There are millions of inks out there. This is hibiscus. These are all available on the Birmingham Ink Company, birminghampencompany.com. This is a 100 ml bottle. You get lots of refills. And there are places you can buy just ink samples as well. You can buy the 5 ml ink samples relatively cheap if you don't want to buy a whole bottle and you want to try a bunch of things. And this is a beautiful robin's egg blue. Maybe if a trend that I like blue ink. No problem. I can gladly ink a pen next week. We can do a whole ink. We can ink one and clean one next week. We're on A Live. Those are all inks from the Birmingham Ink Company. And when it comes to nibs, nibs are a monster in themselves, or as Darren likes to say, a rabbit hole. Nibs can be, as you saw, in fine, extra fine, medium, broad, double broad, a load of calligraphy type. They can come in colors, such as this bluish black color. They can come in silver, which is like a standard stainless. You can get them in black with a PVD coating on them. They come in straight black. Black is a good contrast sometimes for pink pens or light colored pens. Black is a good contrast nib. These are all in a Euro number 6. These ones, I believe, are, this is a fawn. You can see the little engraving right there on the side. And you can even get them, you can get them in gold, you can get them in gold plating, you can get them in 24 karat gold, 14 karat gold, 10 karat gold. You can get them in rose gold, like so. This is not stainless, and it is not yellow gold. It is rose gold, or almost a copper color. It's called rose gold. Yeah, a tutorial would be good. Let's do that. I'll have a pen made for next week, and we'll ink it and we'll clean it. So something like this black pen, or this pink pen, sorry, would look good with a black nib because of the contrast. Or we could take the nib out of this one. Ah, this is great. This is actually perfect. For the longest time, when I was using this pen a lot, I had an Edison nib in this from Darren, which Darren and I have found the Edison nibs write very well. And I like them very much. Reopen this so I don't damage the nib. And this looks beautiful with a black nib. Pardon the Smurf fingers. Oh yeah. Yeah, just a nib alone in solid gold usually is a minimum of $200 just for the nib. That doesn't include any smoothing or finishing or nib custom grounding or anything like that. Absolutely. That is a great idea, Linda. I will make a tutorial video and just record it, and we will save it to the file section of the on the website and on the of the Facebook group. Great idea. Yeah, that's an Edison fine nib. The Edison nibs have a different color than the standard black PVD, but I like both. Yes, absolutely. The pen itself is just the carrier for the beauty that you like on the outside. And then as far as nibs go, you can switch around nibs until you get the size that you like, or the shape that you like, or the way that it writes, as long as you're buying it in the nib that fits. These are number 6. Oh, there it is. But and then you can figure out an ink that you like. Does the nib have the size printed on it? It actually is engraved in it, Joan. Yeah, so I don't know how well the camera will focus, but you can see, I don't know if it'll catch it or not. There's an M engraved on this one, which stands for medium. This one is engraved with an F. You might be able to see that one for fine. Usually extra fine is EF, and then broad would be B, double broad would be two B's, and then various types of calligraphy. And architect and stub. There are lots and lots and lots of types of nibs with whatever type of writing style you like. Wow, that time has went fast. Hopefully I didn't overload anybody with information, but we have hit our 9 o'clock mark. Yeah. Yeah. Do we have any questions before we go? Like I said, we have some new blanks. We're not sure what to call these ones. Maybe something 80s or the 90s. This one I think we'll call like a southwestern color with the turquoise. And this one, some sort of Halloween color, Halloween name. Yes. How about I start a thread? Oh wow. Sorry. How about I start a post in the Facebook group for fountain pen questions? I will post videos there and questions there and go from there and see how that works. You can post any questions there and get an answer. Or DMs, yes, if you don't want to be public questions. Remember, no question is a dumb question. The only questions that are bad are those not asked. But ask any question you want, anytime. Myself, Darren, somebody in the group will answer anytime. Do not ever feel less or ignorant or any or less important or foolish or anything by not asking. We gladly will answer any questions you have. And we will do some ink swatching as well. All right. Thank you all so much. Yes, Merry Christmas to those who celebrate. Happy Hanukkah. Um, and we will see you next week. Have a good night.